It is the year 2005. The treacherous Decepticons have conquered the Autobots' home planet of Cybertron. Cybertrons. Cybertrons. Cybertron. Cybertrons. 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 Cybertron.
We now return you to the Children of Primus.
Welcome. So another episode of Freestyle Frenzy Sunday with the Children of
Mr.
Primus.
Magnus.
We have our guest star, Mr. Magnus, aka Megatron, on our stream this week. Megatron's keeping it quiet. Cito, how are you doing?
Fine, other than that craziness I've been having trying to get that government card stuff straight. It got hacked by someone in New York.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. You figure if you're in the Tri-Cities area that the city that your taxes go to would be the police station you report it to.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, no, I'm not under that jurisdiction. Every police officer is like, no, you're under their jurisdiction. No, it's like the Spider-Man meme. They're all pointing at each other. And I was like, I love government incompetence.
That is the government in many departments. It's just like, nope, you go over there, but over there is saying, come back over here.
I will say, in the police officer's defense, at least they do try to help, and it's just a matter of having the jurisdiction, being able to get the jurisdiction right, because the wonderful Georgia, but the state county office would be like, oh, you called the number on the back of your card. And then you call the number on the back of your card. It's like you report it to who issued your card. So it would be like the bank if you would report to the bank that you got your card from.
Yep.
Versus calling the number on the back of your bank card. It's equivalent of that going back and forth. And I'm like, God, my cat has more intelligence than all of them put together. Yes, Shinta, I said you're smart. He's further down the stairs from me, looking up at me like.
Mr. Magnus.
Mr. Magnus, how are you doing?
I'm doing well now that I can hear.
Yes.
The helmet.
Mask, yeah.
I can actually put it on over the headgear, but I can't bring it down far enough for me to be able to see out of it. So I would be able to hear and talk, but I wouldn't be able to see what anything was going on.
No, the mini con was not just flicking you off when you had the mask on. I swear it wasn't.
Wow.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yep.
No, it wasn't.
James Cola says, hey guys, so psyched that Transformers Missing Link is now doing Mini Spies, Bumblebee, and Cliff Jumper. Can't wait to see these soon. And also says, my favorite Megatrons are G1, Beast Wars, and Robots in Disguise 2000. Can't wait to see Transformers 1. And also says, it's Mega Magnus. Yes.
We also have another viewer, a good friend of mine, and his wife are watching on their TV, so they're not going to be able to make comments. But shout out to Jeremy and his wife.
Watching it live on YouTube.
Yeah, he's the one that just sent me a text, and he's like, "That damn helmet."
Well, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Torwarp is slowly hiding in the background.
Yes, sitting on my beach chair in front of the cases. God.
Yeah, I have a plethora of Megatron sitting on my desk to show whenever we need to.
Well, I got my new favorite shirt on, so I got to show that off.
Yeah, let's see.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
It's a quote from Days of Thunder, one of the most famous quotes of the movie. And when I saw this shirt, I just like, oh my God, I gotta have it.
Did you see that post where I got top 3?
Yeah, with your bike. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know if you could see in that picture of all of them. The one on the end, right before that custom trike, was a 86. I think it was an 86. Screaming Eagle, and it was gorgeous. As soon as I pulled up and I saw that, I went, that's the bike to beat right there.
Was it? Was that the one that got first?
Yeah, it got best in show.
Yeah, I don't know anything about bikes, so I'll take your word for it.
It's just a Harley with a bunch of add-ons on it. Like the only thing that's not chrome on that entire bike was the gas tank and the back fender.
Wow.
Everything else was chrome from front to back.
Well, I can imagine just the sun hitting that bike.
What?
Yeah, it'll be the equivalent of, I don't know if I ever worn that shirt where it says you might go all blind from my awesomeness, where it would be change that to you may go blind to my bike's chrome.
Yeah.
Or the eclipse that we had a couple of weeks ago, and apparently the news reports are now saying that a lot of people are having eye problems because they look directly into the sun.
Idiots.
Yeah, common sense is so rare, it's a superpower.
But it's not shining at us right now.
That's not the way it works.
Or the glasses that somebody was trying to sell glasses that weren't near dark enough for it.
Right.
Wow.
We use our welding hoods.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Yeah, I saw people at the park up that I live eye shot from with their welding hoods, and I was laughing my ass off when I saw that. They're just in the middle of the park with all these other people, and you just got welding hoods on. Little kids are like, "What are those? These look like Star Wars characters, mommy."
I mean, over here, it's just clouded
Jeremy
over.
said if the president doesn't wear them, then it's fine.
Wow.
Because there was pictures of Joe Biden looking up at it.
Oof.
Oh God. Yeah, idiot 1 and 2.
So as we're going to focus on Megatron for tonight's stream, and all the variations of Megatron, everything we know about him, including the R2D2, the Buck Rogers Twiggy joke from Megatron mask, and also the Robosen Megatron that's been recently released, which I think again everyone's having mixed reviews on this Megatron, him being a tank, but also being called G1 style Megatron.
Yeah, D16 or something like that. D19.
D16.
Yeah, for the movie they're calling him D16 because that was the name of the toy before Hasbro took over. But in
issue number or some.
Mm-hmm. But then in terms of the Robosen being a tank, they're still calling it G1.
Yeah, it's very Combiner Wars.
It's kind of it's got to be a tank. He can't transform into a gun. What's the word I'm looking for? A self. Like when it floats.
Right.
It's not like he can transform into a floating gun.
Yeah, I mean, if they ever plan to do Shockwave, they'd have to figure out how to make him float.
Yeah, right.
A submarine or a spaceship.
And robots in disguise, which is this one. One of his forms is a
Okay,
hand,
201.
right down here at the bottom. And in the cartoon, it was just his hand floating down the streets.
Yeah,
That's weird.
I think that's the first way you see him in the show. I hadn't gotten that far into it, but
I
like,
guess
this
there's
is
a
gonna
reason
be
I just
different.
like G1.
Mm. Well, actually, Magnus, so what are the modes of that one?
Of this one?
Yes.
A whole lot of
Right.
tricky shit.
Yeah, so can you see him?
Yep.
He's a race car, a spaceship, a bat, a dragon, a hand, and then the robot.
Interesting.
Is it like a modern 6-shot?
I think it was the answer for. I think Robots in Disguise. He was the answer to be the 6-shot, but yeah, he was a 6. He was a 6 transformer.
Stag, single transformer attack group.
Mhm. But I mean, then you wonder. It's like all these cool modes, and then there's a hand. What was the idea behind the hand?
Drugs.
Well,
You were drunk.
if you have one out of the box, because the hand is big enough, you can make the hand hold this one.
Interesting.
Okay.
Because why not?
Why not? So somewhere in Hasbro's marketing and then research and development, it made sense at the time.
And I just go back to that one meme that goes, "But why?"
Yeah.
Jeremy just texted in. He said, "I'm pretty sure that all the Transformers ideas for our ID were based on drugs."
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, you have the flying shark, the flying squirrel. What is it? A flying squirrel, a frog. I can't remember the third one of those kind of Tree Stooges like beasts that were like reissued. They were redecos of like Transmetal 2s that were on basics, which would be like the equivalent of like core, in between core and deluxes.
Oh dear.
Oh, and a skunk. I think it was a skunk, a frog,
Yep.
and a flying squirrel. And you were. If you think if Thor Warp thinks the first season of Beast Wars got goofy, RID01 wants to tell them to hold their beer. That whole show is just.
The problem I had with RID was Hot Rod. Hot Rod kept trying to hit on red sports cars because he didn't know if they were Transformers or not.
And that poor girl every time. It's like, it's that damn car again. Every episode, that poor woman.
Yeah, he was just hoping that he was finally going to pick up a red sports car that was going to be a Transformer.
Is that kind of like a dog chasing a car? It doesn't know what to do with it once it catches it?
The woman comes back from using the gas station bathroom. What are you doing to my car? Why is the other car rubbing its gas tank against mine? Why?
Don't.
Yep, that just turned Megatron or Hot Rod into like rated R.
That's right.
I mean, it is originally a Japanese-produced show, so they're kind of the opposite of the U.S., where the U.S. we're like, we'll show all the violence, but anything mildly, sexual, like a person in too skimpy of a swimsuit, we're like, oh no. Whereas Japan's like, oh, we'll make all the sex jokes, but the violence, no, bad, which is the way I think it should be. The one scene creates like the other one ends it, but whatever.
Oh, Hot Rod. This is my show. Let's talk about.
Yes. So as we're going to focus on Megatron, so as we'll start off with the Megatron that most of us know and remember is the G1 Megatron. In terms of our thoughts and our thoughts in terms of the toy, the design, his personality within the 4 seasons and the movie.
Well, first off, wow. Only in the 80s could you get something that realistic looking.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, there were, I think we've discussed it before, but there were unfortunate events leading to police interactions and kids holding these guns. Somewhere along the lines, I read a story of somebody had actually robbed a convenience store with one because it looked real enough.
Yep, that is true.
So, yeah.
I shouldn't laugh.
No wonder I wasn't ever allowed to have one as a kid because my mom wouldn't let me have anything that had guns.
I owned a real gun before I owned a Megatron, so yeah, it's just
Now, what would we say about his
yeah. In '86, I was 13, so yeah, I got my first gun when I was 9.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, that's when I started squirrel hunting with my dad.
I think it was 7th grade for me
I've never owned a gun.
when I started hunting and all that
Me
kind of
neither.
I
stuff.
said I've never owned a gun. Spin, I have enough for both of us. When the zombie apocalypse happens,
Mhm.
you just come on down. I got you, bro.
Okay, but you know what? Aside from guns, do you have any rocket launchers that can like mount on the shoulder?
Speaking
No,
of the devil.
no, I do have a flamethrower.
Ooh.
I've been seeing a lot of flamethrowers in the show I've been watching the
You,
last few days. Sweet Home Season 2.
had my attention. Now you've piqued my interest.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. It's based on like a Korean comic, web comic. So and the next season's coming out this summer. So I was like, look, I just finally, the last few days, finally watched it. And it's like every episode's anywhere from like 60 to 90 minutes. So.
What's James Coleman saying?
Oh, yeah. I had that because I stopped watching that show, so I got them back. I got them mixed up.
Oh gosh. James Coleman is saying, I hope that Generations Prime will do a Commander class RID Megatron, aka Gigatron, someday. Oh, Red Car is Sideburn, not Hot Rod.
The one that kept going, hey, Red, hey, Red.
Again, I'll take your word for it. Robots in the Skies is the one before Armada, right? Yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
Gross.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see. Well, if we're looking at a timeline,
James
of Megatrons,
was Red Car or was Sideburn the Dodge Viper, the blue Dodge Viper with the blown engine on it?
He had I think it's the same figure that the recent Shadow Striker is adapted from design wise.
RID had licensed cars?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they had very good car, like a big emphasis. I mean, they even in Japan they literally called it car robots, because they were like, we're going back to cars, even though they had like on the bad guy side. I mean, they still had Beast, but then like I don't know how far in the season you have like you get Scourge, which is a variant of Nemesis Prime, and some not the Combaticons and some other more traditional Decepticon looking characters.
Ruination.
Partway to the show, but it normally starts off as the Autobots are the car robots and the bad guys are the Beast robots.
Well, I mean, looking at the the timeline of Megatron, there's Generation 1, Beast Wars, RID, the Unicron trilogy, and then we've got the Cinematic Universe animated, Transformers animated, the Shattered Glass, Transformers Prime, and Earth Spark, and then the next one is going to be the Transformers 1. And James Coleman says, yes, it is. Also, I know in terms of, from what we can recall of Megatron in season 1, in terms of like that destructive Persa relationship him and Starscream had, did that carry through in other versions of Transformers?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like a constant in even transferred over to the movies, but the live action movies. But that's always been like a constant thing of something that never changed with, well, I wouldn't say never, but hardly ever changed with whatever iteration of Transformers, whatever generation you want to go with.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I do like the fact that we actually do still have his name because, when it was conceived, they thought it was too scary sounding for kids, and they almost changed his name. Bob Budiansky came up with, yeah, Megatron. Bob Budiansky told a story of, he came up with the name, and he took it to the powers that be, and the powers that be like, Megatron sounds kind of scary. Maybe we should change his name. He goes, well, and he said that it popped out of his mouth without even thinking about it. He's like, he's the bad guy. He's supposed to be scary, and they just said okay. And he walked back out of the office like, I can't believe that worked. Yeah. From his inception, he's supposed to be scary. I don't know how. In the cartoon, he was, I wouldn't say ever really scary, I don't think, as he was the maniacal part. Mm-hmm. He is actually scary when you turn the maniacal down, like in the Netflix one, Siege.
Right.
Yeah, when he starts like having Shockwave like convert Decepticons into Energon and making Hitler look like a good guy by comparison. That's pretty bad.
There. Well, I mean, there is one, which actually I don't think they have listed, but in one of the online versions, where Megatron is basically just kind of done with the war, and same with Optimus, but Megatron is just more sarcastic and just
Prime Wars.
In the Prime Wars, yeah, I think that ended up being one of my favorite versions of Megatron. Just
wasn't that Combiner Wars?
I think Combiner Wars.
It was Combiner Wars. Titans Returns was the middle part, and then Powers of the Prime was the last part.
Oh, I didn't even realize they split that up into 3 different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That had so much potential to be good. Yeah, you're right. How sarcastic he was, and that was just a gem.
I like how he was like in charge of almost like a Transformers equivalent of like the Fellowship of the Ring and Power of the Primes, because you had like a classic Autobot with Perceptor, like a Beastbot with Grimlock, like a G1 Beastbot with Grimlock, a Beast Wars Beastbot with Optimus Primal. Yeah, Megatron is a Decepticon. You had that female combiner that was made in Combiner Wars, Victorion or whatever her name was.
Yeah, Victorion and Windblade was in it too.
Windblade.
Yeah, and she was the more quote unquote, I guess, post 21st century edition, I guess, addition to the franchise type character. Mm-hmm. So you had a combination of at least with the 80s and the 90s and both all the different factions, before 2000, pretty much. Mm-hmm. You had references mix up of.
It would have been nice to got the maniacal turned down in G1, because in G1 he's pretty much like that mustache twirling bad guy. You know what I mean? He just doesn't really show any kind of scary part. What we got here? Is that Victorion?
Yeah, that was the combiner that was kind of a constant to all 3 parks, more or less. Mm-hmm. I think Perceptor really, he might have popped up like towards the end of Combiner Wars, but he was mainly prominent in the second and last parts. Perceptor.
Yeah,
and there's like this.
Oh, sorry. Let me just get the comments. Evan Former, what's up? Says, what's up, guys? Just putting together Lego Optimus Prime right now. And Caden, hey Caden, how's it going? Unpopular opinion, G1 Megatron is the worst Megatron.
I don't know if he beats out Beast Wars Megatron. Yes. That is so weird. No, I don't. No. I can understand how G1 Megatron wouldn't be, near the top of anyone's Megatron list, but no, he beats out Beast Wars Megatron for sure. Bill's disagreeing?
No, I'm agreeing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, G1 is not. No, this garbage.
So good
Tell
thing
us how you
Anthony
really
isn't
feel
on,
about
or
Beast
Anthony would be
Wars.
like, Anthony
I
would be
mean,
side-eyeing
I'm
you.
a dinosaur fan. I'm a dinosaur fan, but I hate that version. It looks like he has a sock puppet. When he's in robot mode, it looks like he has a sock puppet because he's got that fucking face as a hand.
Well, even like his predator,
the only thing that could have been good is if they turned that to comic value during the show, and he'd be like,
they
look
say
at
they did in
Starscream over there.
On the Muppet Show tonight. Oh wait,
Yeah, they did it in Japan. The Japanese.
what's up,
dub is
Deceptikitty?
Crazy.
Hey, Tori, how are you guys?
Oh, hanging in there about yourself.
And we're good.
I'm in my bedroom right now. It's completely vacant in here, and we got all the renovations done, all the flooring. They just have to like do the siding and put the boxes back. So,
Far
yeah,
out. That's progress. Okay, so at least they didn't spend too long doing the renovations.
Yeah, it didn't take too long.
And there's Deceptikitty.
There she is.
She's muting him.
So Bill, does that Megatron hatred go for all the Beast Wars in your eyes, or?
I'm not a fan. The only one that I like in Beast Wars at all, and it wasn't even Beast Wars, it was Beast Metal, and that was Arachnid. Arachnia.
Oh,
Because
Arachnia.
her spider form is just absolutely on fire.
Yeah, even other Decepticons of similar rank in Beast Wars don't like Beast Wars Megatron because he's sort of kind of just like a renegade, like punk gang leader, and not actually like a proper leader.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like in the Transformer comics, the Beast Wars, like the mid-2000 Beast Wars comics that Simon Foreman wrote, and he combined like the U.S. and the Japanese Beast Wars characters. Like the guy that's made out of the tree dinosaurs, he gets told by and even in the show they have this why the three like topmost Decepticons are like, yeah, take that idiot out before he gets us all killed doing stupid time travel bullcrap.
I mean, G1 Megatron, as in the comics, was kind of a bitch too because he wasn't in charge of the Decepticons a whole lot. You know, he usually was fighting with
totally different. And a cosmically powered underbase powered Starscream or whatever it is.
And I mean, the one thing to it with Megatron was especially, some details that they missed from the comics into the G1 cartoon. The fact that he has the ability to, I believe, create a black hole with his fusion cannon, which, is never mentioned in the cartoon. But it's also surprising that he lost against Shockwave in the comics.
Again, going back to the lore that I have stuck with for that I found in the 90s and have stuck with for, almost 30 years now. Brain fart, I forgot where I was going with that.
Constipation.
Yeah.
Somebody being a bitch.
I'm a little hungover.
You're getting old.
You watch your whore mouth. No, what was God dang it! You were saying something about that before, and that's what sparked that.
I said somebody being a bitch is what we were kind of going on. The leaders being a bitches.
I got it. Okay. Jeez, I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway, Megatron, Soundwave, and Shockwave were all created at the same time, and they were created with enough firepower, more than any other Transformer at the time, so they could take down Guardians. Okay, they take down the Guardian robots. Okay. So that puts Megatron, Soundwave, and Shockwave on the same level. So it wasn't too far out there to think of Shockwave being able to take Megatron. Mm-hmm. Cartoon Shockwave, yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna talk about a bitch. Yeah.
Lord Megatron, how may I service you today? Let me brown nose you.
No, no, don't.
So,
Don't.
Don't.
so sticking with that, um, Soundwave wielding Megatron in one hand and Shockwave in the other.
Hmm.
That's heavy.
That's heavy.
That is heavy.
Right. I guess I missed. I was waiting because when I watch the thing, I'm not on the live, so I got to wait an extra like 10 seconds. I thought you were showing something. What did you say again?
Y'all were talking about that Shockwave, Soundwave, and Megatron were all created at the same times to be able to take out the Guardian robots.
Mm-hmm.
So Soundwave wielding Megatron in one hand and Shockwave in the other.
Oh.
You know,
Horse
that
having
would,
a geekgasm.
yep, but that would actually make Soundwave into like a double target master.
Yeah, technically.
I put that on one of the Transformers pages one time. I said if G1 Megatron's original form was a handheld gun,
Mm-hmm.
does that make him the first target master? And if so, who was he beholden to?
I remember you asking that. Yeah, it probably would have been Soundwave.
You know, and maybe that's why there's that undying loyalty between the two of them.
That is true.
Yeah, you really like these fan theories.
Oh yeah, I love them. I love them. I love a good rabbit hole, man. I just dive in. Let's go. Let's go. Let's find the bottom of it.
Where's the best place to read some of this fan fiction?
Actually, Sheba Kobe has some posted up in the Children of Primus Facebook group. So I'll plug that first.
Excellent.
But go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry.
That's what I was going to say. I read most of my stuff on the Transformers pages that I'm members of. You know, people will put stuff in. Don't go to the sales post. Go to the discussion page. In discussions, it's not as regulated, and it's just to get people talking. You know, get action on the site, and people will come up with these things, and we'll have links and everything else.
That's where I usually post my videos there in the discussion area. Yeah.
Which
back in the day, sorry.
No. Go ahead. I can ask after. Yeah.
I was going to say back in the day, in like 95, 96 era, like Transformers Webbering time, there was a Transformers fan fiction webpage just dedicated to fan fiction. And I used to read as much as I could. Man, I think I read the whole page. There was so much stuff there, it was impossible. But yeah, that was a great resource. But I guess it's all sporadic now. There isn't really a central database for fan fiction as much, is there?
I don't know how much of it is on DeviantArt, but I know that's where Sheba Kobe's links are too. So she's doing it on DeviantArt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that they say that once you post something to the internet, it's never really gone. But I did like a 4-page story on that alternate universe type thing that I did about what Soundwave actually was. Soundwave was, because they show him as a light pole, that he wasn't a light pole, he was a distribution hub. And that's why he has the cassettes, because they were his loaders, they were his hunters, they were his gatherers. And he was actually a distribution hub.
Very cool. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Blaster has the same things because he was of that same sect. He was a distribution hub, just on a different continent. Also, I had about 12 pages on the different races, that the different forms of Transformers. It's the reason why you have the Dotson brothers. It's the reason why you have Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime. They look the same. Of course, we know that it's because mold costs and everything, but to me, that was the different races of Cybertron.
Mm-hmm.
If they looked similar, that's where they came from on the planet.
And see, that's a cool concept that unfortunately, the movies haven't picked up on. Like their own culture or race of those robots.
I will say, like in the Japanese G1 and Japanese Beast Wars, they do have like the idea that you have convoys, and there will be like a series of that all have the similar Optimus base face and similar like decos and designs and whatnot, regardless of what their alternate mode is. So even if it's like Lio Convoy or Big Convoy, which is a mammoth or Optimus Prime or Genrai, they all have the same basic like head and matrix chambers like natively and whatnot. So there's at least in the Japanese you get more of the race or at least subspecies or whatever.
Well,
Cool.
isn't Autobots and Decepticons in the Japanese lore are supposed to be from two different planets? Like Destron is a planet Destron, and Cybertrons are from planet Cybertron.
Now, where's that? Like, where does that come from? Because I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, I
believe
thought
that's just
Destron.
like
Go ahead.
I believe that's just the foundation of the super fighting life form Transformers lore. It's just like that's how it starts. Is that the Cybertrons are a peace-loving race, and the Destrons have destroyed their planet, and they need resources and a place to live. So they're trying to take over Cybertron, and that's the plot of the G1 series over in Japan.
Interesting.
It's airing. It's airing
Wow,
on
interesting they come
Takara
from-
YouTube right now.
Oh, okay.
The subtitle, I assume.
Good luck.
How are you supposed to know what's going on?
It's just
That's
enjoyable to
what you
watch.
find fan subs for.
We've seen it so many times. I could put
I
the
am
words
not a
to it. I've seen it
subtitle
so many
person.
times.
Yeah. I am not a subtitle person. I like to read books and I like to watch movies. I don't want to read a movie.
Now, how do you feel about dubbing over live action versus like animation? Does that still apply? Like, or do you find it distracting? Like, if it's a foreign film and then they have clearly not well matched English actors.
That's nerve-wracking, but at least I can watch it.
See, that's
and
weird
listen to
because
it.
I know about the only anime I really got into that was in Japanese. I watched it for the first time with an American dub, and that's just kind of what I expected it to be for years. And then somebody said, "Oh no, you got to watch that in the original Japanese, because like when the cars are flying around the corner and you got to enjoy that part." And I'll be damned, it was really better in the Japanese. And like Micah, it was like it was Initial D. Yep.
That's what I figured.
But like Deceptikitty said, I already know a lot of what they're saying anyway from watching it from before. So I can pretty well skate through just watching facial cues and a few words that are close to the same. Yeah, I totally get down with that. As for like watching movies, with the subtitles on, I mean, you're missing out on a lot of good flicks if you don't do that. Because I watch a lot of foreign movies actually turn out to be really good, and it's just a little bit of reading.
My boy Pete, my IT guy, him and his wife, they're really big into anime, and they go to all these viewings and stuff. And back when we first started hanging out, he was like, "Hey, we're going to go watch this movie. Do you want to go with us?" And I was like, "Sure." And so I got in the car with them, and we went to the west side of Evansville. And we get there, and it starts off, and it's Japanese, and it's there. And I've watched a few movies, where it starts out that way, and then it's going to eventually get into English. And after 15 minutes, Pete said he could feel my gaze turn to him like a Turk on a gun. And I went, "Do I have to read this entire fucking movie like that?" And he went, "Well, yeah, it's in Japanese. I thought you knew." And I was like, "No. I wouldn't be here if I knew."
That's the way I felt. I thought Megatron was going to take a sock puppet off.
That's right. Megatron and the sock puppet.
He just looks at, and then he's still watching the screen. He just looks up at his friend. Am I going to have to read this whole movie? And then his friend looks at him. Then his friend looks at him like, and the sock puppet's like, "Don't look at him, look at me."
Thinking, speaking of that Beast Wars Megatron, he had a rubber ducky, kind of like I can't remember which, but Bert and Ernie, which one had the rubber ducky all the time? But Megatron from Beast Wars also had a rubber ducky, and yeah, so Beast Wars Megatron is like Ernie from Sesame Street, where he's always talking to a rubber ducky a lot, and you're just like, okay.
Well, let's kind of branch over to Beast Wars. Oh, actually,
here is.
Okay, go ahead.
This is the world's smallest transforming Megatron and original G1, just to give you the size comparisons.
That's crazy.
Very nice. Very nice small transformer. Holy cow.
Okay, now let's...
Transformers impresses me so much.
Oh, I know. Now let's swing over and talk about the Beast Wars Megatron. Likes or dislikes in terms of his personality. Yes.
Is it right there in the arc? There's the sock puppet right there.
Most of my shoulders.
Right there it is. See, he should have been going, talking with that, go.
With that one line, yes, that Megatron had so much character to him. So much character.
He was have him sit back like this, and when Starscream gets on one of his rants, have the mouth going.
Yeah, I think there's like scenes of him like talking to it, and he's like, "Oh, my incompetent, underlings," and while he's brushing its teeth.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure, and then in the Japanese dub, it would be even worse because he is leaning into the comedy hard in the Japanese version.
Wow.
I don't know how that show could lean into it any harder. I told Anthony, man, there was a lot of.
Seeing it, if you saw if U.S. Beast Wars is silly, then
yeah, like I said to Anthony, there's a lot of times I didn't know
is someone being goofy while a whole room of people that are stoned as fuck being goofy is laughing at everything and anything and just be like, yeah, Beavis. Combined with Beavis and Butthead energy. But with Japanese voices.
Yeah, I couldn't tell the differences if I was watching Transformers or Looney Tunes a lot of times.
Wow.
Like a lot of the violent scenes were that were supposed to be like action sequences, ended up feeling more like Bugs Bunny. Like Yosemite Sam or
Waspinator.
Yeah, a lot of the Waspinator, but it wasn't the only one. Hey, there's a character I like from it. I do like Waspinator. I think everybody likes Waspinator. Poor Waspinator.
Totally.
Well, it's like he's just a bad guy because he just happens to be on the bad guy team. He doesn't feel like a vindictive character, so I think that's why he's fun.
Where Megatron, I think that Megatron from Beast Wars was, how do I put it, more battle tactician than G1 Megatron. Like G1 Megatron really felt like it was the maniacal was turned up way too high, and he did a lot of stuff flying by the seat of his pants.
Yeah.
Well, I found
because of the whole golden disc plans and all, and the adjusting the time streams and all that stuff. You start to reveal that we're getting set up in even the first episode, and especially towards like the end of season 2 and the start of season 3 when everything goes to shit.
Well, I found with the G1 Megatron that with certain plans he was usually like at least a few steps ahead of everyone else, but it's Starscream would be that one to mess it up. In terms of Beast Wars Megatron, did he ever have that kind of game plan in terms of what he was doing?
Yeah, he really felt. You really got the impression that he knew what the hell he was doing to begin with, where G1 Megatron, a lot of times didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He gave off a much better leader vibe.
Which, I mean, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I felt Beast Wars Megatron his plans were like a lot more solid versus like the G1 cartoon. Like for example, he finding the Ark and the Covenant of Primus, and yeah, there's all kinds of like major plans that Beast Wars Megatron had.
No, I say actually, going in between, there is a G1 Galvatron, where in a sense he still retained Megatron's personality, but just ended up having those mental issues from the plasma bath. What would you say in terms of Galvatron versus Megatron?
It's like the worst aspects of Megatron psychologically were dialed up, but then in terms of his physical abilities, he had more power. So it was sort of like a trade-off. Yeah, I can disintegrate Starscream now, but before I was just kind of a Saturday cartoon villain. Now I'm like I'm gonna destroy the planet. Not even that crazy. I'm just gonna destroy everyone. Oh, my henchmen. You told me someone betrayed us? Well, okay, I'm gonna shoot you instead.
Galvatron burned out some sort of a resistor whenever he killed Starscream, because that was the last big blast he did.
Right.
He wasn't able to hardly hurt anybody else after that.
He did blow up that lava planet he was taking a bath in there.
Well, that was because he was all juiced up on everybody else's energon. See, I don't think he has a restrictor. Well, when he gets full, he gets one shot, and then he's got to wait until he can recharge again.
Makes sense.
Well, I was saying season 3, he did take out that other planet in Web World, where they were trying to assess his mental state, and eventually he destroyed that planet too.
That's true. Where was it when he was actually battling the Autobots?
Yeah.
One thing about G1 Galvatron I felt is that it gave a little bit more depth to Megatron, who was a little bit flat, like a one note kind of a character. Galvatron, like, he was insane because he was like this perfect being, and he was manipulated by Unicron, partially lost some of his memories, or seemingly in the cartoon. In the comics, they explored that a little bit more, and then especially in Transformers Prime, when Unicron took over Megatron's head, he had a lot of different feelings about that. Like he lost the taste to be a tyrant there by the end of Transformers Prime. So yeah, Galvatron definitely gives a lot more dimension to an already insane character of Megatron.
It's a good summary, yeah.
Yeah, because at one point I was thinking, in terms of Galvatron just being nuts, was Megatron already nuts, but able to contain it better until he was converted and then just lost it at that point.
I think for both Autobots and Decepticons, they're ideologues. Like they have ideals, and every ideal has its good points, and then in some respects it's misguided. So I think the fact that Megatron, leader of the Decepticons, it's just like their morals and their past was set this way. Autobots are set this way, and turning into Galvatron made him question all kinds of things. Yeah, and made him kind of like a little bit of a blank slate with someone to put the pieces back together. He's someone who has to put his pieces back together.
Now, if we dig into the comic realm, and I know Anthony's not here, so I'm going to rely on you guys for this. In terms of when Megatron's history with him being in a gladiator, how much of his personality or was ever described in that lore?
I think that would be the
from
origins.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't it come from IDW?
Well, he was also a miner in addition to a gladiator. I think he started off as a miner, and when he started to get kind of more politically savvy, he was a miner, then I'm not sure if he became a gladiator, then, writing pamphlets or whatnot, or he wrote pamphlets, then became a gladiator. And I don't know if the gladiator thing was him being punished as a form of punishment, or if that was by choice. I can't recall offhand, but I mean, he was a mix of like a the lower class worker, the common man worker, the warrior, like the soldier, not the politician.
Autobots were
Motifs.
this Autobot Senate were in control of all the politics. Yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
That was
very
a
much
very
a caste system.
Yeah.
And a functionist caste system. So like your alt mode that dictated your lot in life, pretty much.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was a really good comic, and that introduced a lot of these elements to Transformers. And I guess now that I'm thinking about it, we're seeing a little bit of that in Transformers 1, because like we have the non-transforming robots and like the numbered names. Yeah.
Yeah, just a number, not a person.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really good comic. One of my favorites, actually, because I really like that element of like corrupt authority, and the Autobots being like the good guys are the corrupt ones, and Megatron is like basically fighting this rebellion, I guess. So yeah, that was great comic, and gives a definite new side to Megatron and the Decepticons.
Now, what about in terms of Megatron and either? I mean, there's the Robots in Disguise and the Unicron trilogy and animated. What can anyone say about that version of Megatron?
You said which version?
Sorry, I broke up. I didn't understand what you said, Spin.
Oh, what can you say about the Megatron in either Robots in Disguise animated or the Unicron trilogy?
I'll comment on the Unicron trilogy because I'm not really super familiar with animated or RID 01. I never seen either of those two series in full. As for Unicron trilogy, he's like in Armada, he's very like, if you saw he was abusive of Starscream in G1, I mean he's more like on Earthspark's level, like what they imply in Earthspark, where like Starscream has PTSD of, but there's even moments in Armada where his most loyal troops, like his Soundwave, like the Soundwave like characters in Armada are like, Megatron, what are you doing to Starscream? Because they turn on Armada, Starscream's one of the most loyal to Megatron, but he's sick. The problem he has with Megatron is that he's sick. He feels like Megatron doesn't try to work with the whole group, with all of his underlings, because Megatron keeps on hogging the minicons for himself, and he plays like favoritism to those who kiss up to him. It's not based on merit. So like you have Armada. So even like the shock, like let's say G1 cartoon Shockwave like character. So that's even more butt kissy than Soundwave. I mean, even it's pretty bad when even he says like, dude, you're being too bad to mean to Starscream. You're just beating your own men because you lost because your own shitty battle plan didn't work out.
Was he that violent toward Starscream? Because when I remember watching it, I got tired of hearing about everyone's feelings. It's like, dude, they just kept talking about their feelings, and I looked at my kid because I tried watching it with my kid.
So.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, the English version probably dialed up to being emotional and stuff.
Oh
Japanese
my God,
is more subtle.
I looked over at my kid like, hold on, I need to show you the real Transformers and put in the old Rhino DVDs.
And at the end of Armada, I mean, towards the end when Unicron comes around, and you like, okay, Optimus and like Megatron are like, we need to set aside our differences. Starscream gets killed trying to protect everyone from Unicron, and that really like shows like puts them. So whereas in G1 Megatron kills Starscream eventually, and is apparently affected by it. In Armada, it's sort of the opposite of that. Armada Starscream dies trying to help everyone, including Megatron. And that really makes Megatron take a side. And at the end of Armada, he gets killed or taken into the body of Unicron. And in Energon, when Energon comes in, there's like a time skip of like 10 years or something. It's almost kind of like how Sephiroth and Genova in Final Fantasy VII are, where you're not sure if it's Genova, or in Transformers Energon, it would be Unicron, or if it's Megatron or slash Sephiroth in control, you're not sure, which is in control. And there's times when even like the, and that the two are, kind of at odds at each other, even more so than the G1 movie. But whereas, G1 really Unicron does is like, yeah, you're my bitch now. Okay, I'm gonna give you a headache, but like, he actually in like Energon Megatron, Unicron actually legitimately tries to kill
That
Energon
sounds
Megatron.
way more interesting than the American version. I literally yelled at the TV, dude, you're a 40-foot tall robot with wire-guided missile launchers on your shoulders. Blow something up.
Yeah, like watch the subtitle, like the subs, like a Kaoru Yudo subs or whatever. That's way better than watching the English version. Now, and then Cybertron was never meant to be a sequel, like a proper sequel. It was just sort of like Hasbro's like, yeah, you need to retcon this into being connected. And the way they kind of do it, because in Energon you have Unicron can be used to revive planets he priorly has destroyed. So you have Unicron can be used as a force of good or a force of evil, and then there's Unicron. Let's compare it to like the Christian Trinity, like where you have like God and the Holy Spirit. So let's say you have, it could be used as almost like an abstract force, and then you have a Unicron, the personality, which would fight back against Megatron trying to use him for his own goals. And you have these planets that you see get revived, and they kind of, I think what the retcon they did to kind of justify the Energon and Cybertron connections, like, yeah, all these space colonies you see, these Cybertronian colonies you see in like Cybertron, or like those planets you saw in Energon that were just getting started to be revived. It's like the most weakest of like links to connections, whereas like Armada and Energon are like this, whereas Energon and Cybertron are just like, just barely touching. Like, I touch your fingertips.
Let's catch up on the comments here, Spin.
So Prime Dynamics says, if the series had continued, Galvatron would have had to go. I would bet that Zarak would have killed Galvatron and taken over as the leader of the Decepticons.
That's a cool idea. Absolutely. Like Galvatron and Zarak took off at the end of that season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the headmaster were...
I don't know that the rest of the Decepticons would follow an organic being in a metal suit.
But in the comics, he was just so powerful that Decepticons are like, okay, then.
Yeah,
I think Soundwave would have found a way around that.
True.
Or Shockwave,
I
maybe.
within the comics and the season
Shockwave was
4.
Dead.
Yeah,
Shockwave
season
was dead
4.
by season 4.
Of season 4, it's like it was kind of a split in terms of the army of Decepticons, where half of them were still somewhat the originals. Then you had like the movie version Decepticons, but then you had the whole new fleet of Decepticons that were basically all headmasters, target masters, and power masters. So essentially that half of the Decepticons were fighting with the original half. So it was kind of a power struggle of like who came over with Galvatron or who came over with Scorponok. So they kind of had their own civil war happening, which the same thing happened with the Autobots, where it was between, with Optimus missing, it's like Blaster's leading one faction and then Grimlock's leading the other half of them. But at least they all kind of united, even when Optimus came back and there was Fortress Maximus and everything. But really, there were two sides of the Decepticons at that point, so it could have went either way.
I gotta read that series. I keep hearing such good things about it. Where Blaster and Grimlock, thank you, are leading the Autobots. I've got to read that series. I hear such good things about it.
And Caden says, a question for all of us: which Megatron do y'all prefer, a sympathetic or a pure evil type?
I'm gonna go with the Combiner Wars.
As long as it's not
Megatron.
crazy.
Yeah, the maniacal's got to be turned down.
Hmm.
Not Combiner Wars, Netflix Siege, that Megatron. You know,
Yes.
yeah, he was genuinely scary.
Transformers Animated was a really cool Megatron because he was just so much bigger than Optimus Prime, and like the running gag was like, "What's your name? Like, should I know you? Or why am I afraid of you?" So I thought Animated had a really good take on that, and it's still one of the best.
Cool. Now let's jump away from the cartoons and go over to the movies. Essentially the Bayverse, the Bumblebee, and and a Transformer 1 hasn't come out yet. But what would we say about the Megatron in the movies compared to the other Megatrons that we knew of?
You really want to talk about a flat one line, one singularity character? It'd be the movie Megatrons.
I will say about the kind of like how the G1 cartoon Megatron kind of they took some of the basic components of him and expanded on it and did like IDW did more expanded versions of like a G1 style Megatron. It feels like with like the concept of with like the current Energon Transformer universe Transformers, they really go with that whole Megatron being held captive by humans and experimented on, because that's a concept that I mainly associate with the movies and now more recently the Energon the universe comics. And I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, we hadn't seen Megatron really come to act upon, like respond to that yet. But I mean, it seems, it was just seemed like, oh, that's kind of a cool little detail, but they never really, after like Megatron wakes up, it's like, is he like really vindictive against humans because, they had him locked up and were like using him as a guinea pig for century, like about a century or something, or what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's ideas that were there that are cool that they might do. Like I said, they take that concept and really expand on it with the current comics. Like I guess you could say in a way with like Megatron, and then you get Galvatron with the different bodies, like because he was like at one point he was the alien spaceship jet thing, then he's like an alien tank, and then a truck, like a Mad Max looking truck. So I mean, you get that, but it's the same thing again. It's even more flimsy than the G1 with the Megatron into Galvatron. I'm sure, that's. Oh yeah, I guess with because you could argue with at least with Unicron trilogy predates the Bayverse, so I'm trying to think. Is there anything? I don't think really many people. No, I guess in Powers of the Prime, like when you get the sense that someone can be converted back from there's this implication that Prime Wars. I need to.
You can lay off Mountain Dew.
This is way too much information.
He had aspects of Galvatron being changed into Galvatron and Unicron with him, and still has a trauma and can still be changed back into that. So that's after the Bayverse movies. So there's this idea of okay, can having your body change? As much as because they didn't really. I guess maybe in the G1 Marvel comics they kind of explored that with the Galvatron being from the future and Galvatron 2. Yeah, but in the cartoon, it's just sort of okay, yeah, Galvatron is who Megatron used to be, but at least in what fucking series was I talking about? Brain fart.
That's a stinky one.
Well, you have your brain fart, which I had one earlier, so I can't really damn you for it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. Is it contagious or something? My hangover is not letting me think correctly.
If it's contagious, I got it from you because you had one before me.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. I am patient zero.
Prime Wars. So there's, and I don't think I'm trying to think of even in the video games there is sort of a sense in the video games
talking about me.
Shut up, Megatron. You're my bitch. Get back in the kitchen and make me some Energon stew.
Well, SETTOM saying that reminds me of why I hated the movie Megatron so much. It was because in what it was, the Dark of the Moon, where the Carly comes up and says it basically talks him into, going out and helping Prime. How weak-minded do you think Megatron is that he would take that from a fleshling and what? No, that's the reason why I hated the movie Megatron.
Yeah, there was very little depth.
Weak-minded.
Yeah.
There was only one Decepticon in the movies that I feel acted like a Decepticon, and it was still so insequential that I don't even remember his name.
Let's
But
see.
it's the one that
Alt mode?
it's the one that shot humans because he liked to hear them pop.
Not the Scorponok one.
No, he was one of the triple changers from the Bumblebee movie.
Oh,
I like
okay.
the way they pop.
Oh,
I like the sound they make
red
when
or
they
blue?
pop.
Red or
Blue,
blue?
the blue one.
Shot.
Blue one.
It's funny. I was gonna, because when you said which one are kind of like the true Decepticons, I was thinking either the helicopter from the first one, or is it
Yeah,
Barricade?
Blackout.
Barricade.
Yeah, Blackout or
Barricade.
Barricade. Like those two are like true Decepticons.
I still
Yeah,
need like a
about that.
G1 version of Barricade. I mean, we got a G1 version of Barricade and Siege and Earthrise. We need a G1ified Blackout. That's just a badass design just to leave. Because kind of gets into like almost Japanese aesthetic like Bludgeon does with like the way the helicopter blades go.
Now, just before we get to the comment, I know when you did mention the Galvatron, I forgot in one of the movies they did turn Megatron into Galvatron, which was a truck, but then they still kept that storyline where he still was had Megatron's mind. Where he's just kind of playing along with everyone, but it's still
he looks like
Megatron.
Motor Master, but he's Galvatron. And he doesn't transform so much as explode into nano machines and.
Yeah, that was
Why
pretty
can't we
bad.
make what we want to make how we want to
That
make
was
it?
pretty bad.
Who wrote that? A 9-year-old?
So let's go over to the comments. Jeremy says,
Jeremy Kiefer.
Jeremy Kiefer. So he says, I don't think there's a difference between pure evil or sympathetic, just a question of time, which I would agree with that.
Okay. If they give the character the justice of exploring that transition between maniacal and sympathetic, because like when they were writing the G1 episodes, it was episodic, right? And they had different writers for a lot of the episodes. Like Donald Galt wrote most of them, but like they had different writers, right? And basically they had a format. Okay, this is the character. You write the story around this, and it doesn't change from episode to episode very much. Well, especially not in the G1 series. But yeah, that's just kind of the standard back then.
I thought Flint Dilley wrote more episodes than anybody else did. I guess not.
I'm not sure.
Thanks for weighing in on that.
He was an editor, producer, right? Like I don't think he was necessarily writing it. Like it was. I could be wrong, but I don't think he was a writer. I think more of an editor, producer on that show.
Okay.
I see a lot of the episodes where you had him credited as the only writer.
Like he did 5 Faces of Darkness, and like he wrote that. I mean, but other than that, I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
All right. So now we've talked about Megatron's personality for a bit, and we are going to get to a CBR article before we round up the evening. Again,
I think there's still Cyberverse and Earthspark Megatrons. I'm trying to think if there's any other major ones.
That's true. Okay, well, let's see if we can quickly touch upon those ones after. But I know the whole buzz on in the Transformers world recently is the Robosen Megatron that has been released. So we'll play this in the background, and what are your thoughts of this Megatron?
I can't wait for it.
Of course, Magnus is going to get it.
Well, I'm gonna wait because just like I did not get the Grimlock because all the reviews were very poor because he's so top heavy, he tips over as soon as you make him walk. So I did not get Grimlock.
Oh, interesting.
Did his emblem just spin around? That's pretty sick.
Wait, let's
Did it? Hang on, back that
Yep.
up.
Whoa, whoa.
I saw it because I'm 10
Oh.
seconds
Oh my
behind you
gosh,
guys.
Yep,
it
it did.
does!
It does. I did not even notice that before. That's cool.
Wow. Pretty neat.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just not amazing for the price. I just can't justify spending that much. I mean, does
Like
anybody know what the
what,
retail is yet? Probably around 1,800.
If you get it on early pre-order, it's something like $899, and if you get it after the discount pre-order, it's something like $1,199.
That's better than what I thought it was going to be.
That's still not cheap.
But
and
like
especially
as like
for
Slack
No.
Podcast said, it's like pretty much everything else that was on the reveal that this was officially revealed on, you could buy all that stuff product and still have money left over for what you would pay for this.
Was Charlie C who's hiding in the comments? Yeah, he says this Megatron is too much.
Try to say
It's too much.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, yeah, if somebody got it for me as a gift, I would certainly accept it. But as for going out and spending that kind of money on it, I'd rather have a G1 that's graded, something better than a 50 grade. But,
one cool thing about these RoboSens is that they could keep updating the apps, and down the line they could give them some more movements or features, and that's.
I'll be back. I gotta
the
get myself
firmware is
a drink.
upgradable. Yes, so I was going to say for that price, I feel like they should put some more engineering into this. Like, okay, maybe I'm asking for too. Holy cow, that mace is actually amazing. Look at that.
yeah.
Okay, that was
He actually
right
wings
when I'm
that thing.
saying it. Yeah.
Yeah, as you're saying it, you change your.
Somebody didn't do their research.
You're right. Yeah, I didn't see this whole video. But okay, particularly what I'm referring to is this transformation. It's even the Grimlock was more involved in this. This doesn't seem. It seems like they could have done something a little bit cooler.
The transformation is really similar to the Prime transformation because I watched a video where they had a Prime and this transforming, and it was pretty much the same transformation.
I
know
feel
what
it.
this-
You know what it's lacking? It's lacking character. Every transformer had a character, especially Jazz. Where he like dove onto his feet and then transformed.
Yep.
Every character has like a style of transforming, and I feel like these RoboSens, well, maybe not the Grimlock, but the Prime and Megatron are a little bit on the bland side with their transformations.
When the Robosen Prime transforms exactly like Optimus Prime did. His head just pops out from a different angle.
Wait. The Robosen Prime one has to spin.
Just as that's what I said. His upper torso has to spin, but that's the only difference because his head comes out the wrong way, so he has to spin around. But other than that, it's the exact same. The arms come down from the hips, and the legs turn into the trailer hookup.
And probably my favorite part about
no,
that.
don't touch my butt. That's what he just said. He said, no, don't touch my butt.
About made me spit my tea out.
Yeah.
Oh, so you respect. All right then.
Well, that's cool
cool.
that they made his battery indicator light one of his lights on his chest, though. That's
Yes,
cool.
that's yeah.
Yeah.
I was really amazed when I saw that because I was like, "Oh, it's about time." So you know exactly how much battery's left. Yeah, I really like that. I really like the way he wings that mace around, man. That is insane. Like I said, it's a beautiful piece. I just couldn't, spend that kind of money on it. Yeah. And,
you might
and
get
on top
quality,
of
but you don't. It's so. Sometimes I mean, sometimes you want quality alone. Sometimes isn't enough, especially if it's too high of a price tag.
That's a slow run there, Optimus.
No.
No.
Oh, the
shit.
money shot.
That is the money shot.
Prime is getting messed up right there.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes the mace.
Jumped right into that one.
Yep.
That's probably the best part.
and on top of that, with the coolness factor that they've got Frank Welker doing the voice,
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Peter Cullen did the one for the other one, so
and Greg Berger did it for Grimlock. So
Grimlock, yeah.
yeah.
Just today I came across.
And I'm sure that's where some of the money has to go to. I'll bet that
yeah.
those voices don't come cheap.
Yeah, big time, big time.
Yeah, but if they're just paying them for a session, they can knock that out in an hour.
But I mean, imagine how much they charge per hour per project.
You sell 3 of those things, and it's probably enough to pay your voice actor for what they're doing. I wouldn't imagine that. I wouldn't imagine they're making more than $5,000 for an hour's worth of work.
You know what? That's probably
That
makes
right
sense,
there
a lot
is
of
the
sense.
only part that I don't like about his transformation. Just like with Optimus Prime, Optimus Prime slides his knuckles across the floor when he transforms, and so the paint gets taken off the front of his fists. And when he transforms, it's going to take off all the paint on the sides of the treads. Watch how he transforms right here.
Yeah, let me slow it
I
down.
got the treads, but the front
Agreed,
air downs
Charlie.
of the tank.
What's Charlie saying?
I think Charlie
This
was
part-
saying the Megatron
Not
pretty
that.
much is the same as a Combiner
This part right
Wars.
here, where that slides down.
Ooh, yeah, that looks scratchy.
Well, I mean, what are you guys setting it up on? Sandpaper? I mean, you're going to have it on a really smooth surface anyway. And let's face it, it's adults buying these things. It's not like kids that are going to, use the crap out of them like they would a $30 toy from the toy store.
And Prime Dynamics says the walk is what kills me. Megatron walks like O.J. Simpson.
So does Optimus. I will give you that. So does Optimus.
And Charlie says it says it's only $81 for 12 months. Or, and some things would be like, for a limited time offer, $2.99 for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
And that's $20 a week for a year.
For a year.
Mm-hmm.
Operators are standing by.
All right, Robosen,
Possible
now pay
discount
us.
if you donate a kidney and part of your liver.
So there's actually another video that the Decepticitty has sent to me. So I'm just gonna cue that up momentarily.
Yeah, I'm almost
That's something
tempted
I
because I
watched
know where
today,
my
actually.
Combiner Wars Megatron is. Well, the one based on the Armada design, but it's the same mold. I'm almost tempted to grab it and kind of like.
Well, we
while
were just
watching the
saying
video,
that how much all of us like
combine it.
Combiner Wars Megatron, so I don't have a problem him, going after that style.
Yeah, that
and I
thing's
don't have a problem with him being a
pretty
tank.
in the paint, because wasn't it painted all silver from what I remember? That the one that's based on G1 Megatron. So it's really pretty in tank mode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Which is
Prime
a weird
Dynamics
statement to say
says,
that tank is pretty.
and where Prime Dynamics says, if you're gonna spend that type of money, you might as well go for Grimlock.
I agree.
Grimlock
is
got
the coolest
horrible reviews. He's extremely top heavy, and as soon as he takes his first step, he falls flat on his face.
Wow.
that's sad.
He's great for doing any of this stuff while he's standing still. He can swing, he can growl, and everything. He can do the little exercise things, same as Prime, same as I imagine this one's going to be able to. But as soon as you make him walk, face down.
Walk in robot mode,
Now-
you're saying.
Yes, in robot mode. Now, in Dino mode, he's great.
There's Frank Welker right there, probably doing the voiceover.
Hmm.
God, look at the size of that thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is his child.
And Charlie C says that's where all the smart chips are going.
Goodness sakes, I don't know that Robosen is that tall.
Which I think we should, one stream talk about Grimlock at one point. Grimlock and the Dinobots, for the fact of, when they were initially created, like they were just feared among all the Decepticons, and even, half the Autobots were afraid of them. And especially keeping them in their dinosaur mode. Their robot modes were kind of impressive, but their dinosaur modes were what scared everyone. But then eventually, like season 3, they just became like these little comedic sidekicks.
Oh,
Yeah.
so annoying. Yeah.
And their size was drastically reduced, whereas like Grimlock in dinosaur mode was standing next to Rodimus.
Did not
Well,
be, and being about 6 inches taller. So annoying.
I'll have to plug him in, but he's dead. But there he is.
How's the battery life lasting on him now that you've had him for a few years?
I've had him for almost 2 years, and this is the 3rd time I've had to charge him up.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Holy
That's
shit.
crazy. Not getting much use.
No, I mean, I use them, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a good conversation piece if you have somebody over.
Mhm.
But couldn't imagine just, sitting there and putting a whole lot of use on it just for really no other purpose.
It's for the times when someone says, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if Transformers could transform themselves?" And you could be like,
Now that you speak of it,
Well, the fact that, in truck mode, essentially, he is an RC car. There's a lot of people that are, really into RC cars. And I had friends that, they would go to RC tracks every week, modify their cars. And that's a whole culture in itself.
Oh, yeah.
Which I did see one video, which is very cool, is they had, I guess, essentially a GoPro or mini camera, and they would shoot a Dukes of Hazzard, or the General Lee RC car, and the footage looks like so realistic you think it's an actual General Lee. But would RC car enthusiasts be interested in these Robosen Transformers?
I'm going to say probably not, because their whole deal is speed.
"Yeah, speed power."
Yeah.
This reminds me of those '90s RC cars that were just popping out like crazy. Every month there'd be a new RC car
Right.
in the Sears catalog. But one thing about modifying, you're saying modifying RC cars, for Grimlock, if his feet are, if he's too top heavy, could you maybe modify Grimlock by putting some weight in his feet? I know I've done that for some of my Transformers.
if I pay $1,600 for a piece, I shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, it's a good
Very
point.
good point. Very good point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes,
That's-
it's possible.
That's why he won't be here unless somebody buys him for me or they donate one. It will
Or
not,
Unicron
the
just-
money will not
I
come
was
out
about
of
to say,
mine.
or unless your gravity well just acquires one.
That's right. Well, like I said, Unicron, bring me a Grimlock.
Well, I could throw a counter argument to that, and Magnus and
The dinosaur one. Talking about the dinosaur.
I could throw a counter argument, which Magnus and Toy Whip would probably say too. Would it not be any different than buying a car, with a certain amount of horsepower and all this and that, but then you still have to modify the engine, suspension and everything else, because the manufacturer is not going to build a car to those specs. So is it not any different than buying a Grimlock and then modifying it to what, modifying it better than what the manufacturer designed it to be?
I feel that's kind of the thing with all consumer products. Everything is made half-ass, and then you buy
Yeah.
the accessories to really make it complete. Nothing's really
Yep.
a finished product. Everything is half-ass.
Well, I feel like standing is like a basic function. So, like, I mean, there's been Transformer toys in the last recent years I bought because I was like, oh, I wonder if there's any cool upgrades. So, like, I know the
back that up right there.
IDW Blur I bought because there is these little jet engines that add-ons you could get. Now you saw, oh, that looks cool. It makes the car mode look more different than the Studio Series 86 one. But that didn't complete the design. That added to it. So, I mean, if it's... But, like, for just a basic function, that's... No. Like, I don't buy upgrades to make the toy function. But if it's... But if it's just the kind of, like, oh, like, I know there's, like, some weapons for that Shadow Striker I like to get because there's some weapons that she uses in Cyberverse that she didn't use in her original BotCon toy release, which is what more the Legacy figures more is. I mean, it's Raw.
Another thing with modifying your Grimlock is a lot like modifying a car that you get too. If you change it from its originality, does it affect the value of it on down the road?
Right here. They're talking about the touchpads. No, let it play. Let it play. They're talking about the touch sensors. 2 touch sense zones. One at his chest. Hang on.
Touch me, fleshy one. Oh,
and one in his butt.
Why?
And wait, let it play. Let it play. And Megatron says,
no. Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely G1.
That's, yep. And, Nathan J says, OMG, that looks so cool.
Are you saying that his butt getting touched is cool looking, or him himself?
No, this was probably before we
right
noticed
before we
that.
started talking about that.
Yep. Trying to be sarcastic.
Prime Dynamics says, if I were Robosen, Soundwave would be my next project.
We'll never get a Soundwave that transforms.
Wait, didn't they say Robosen? Didn't Robosen say this was the last one they're doing?
Oh,
yeah. But the reason why that they released they wouldn't do a Soundwave is because all the robotics that it takes are mounted in the chest, and so Soundwave would not eject, and people don't want a Soundwave that doesn't eject.
Makes sense.
Nathan J is asking, is that the new Megatron? And yes, this is the new Megatron that has been recently released this week from Robosen.
Or announced, anyways.
Correct.
Is it? Can you pre-order it?
I believe
yes.
They're
you can pre-order it right now.
Oh,
yeah, SETTOM was saying you could pre-order it now for, what was it, like $8.99 or $9.99? But then after that,
some
the
saying
price
in
goes
the
up to
3
$12.
digits, like the hundreds versus the low thousands. Depending on if you get it before a certain cutoff.
Which is still lower than I mean, half the price than what they were selling Grimlock before. And again, doing the Canadian US conversion, like Grimlock after shipping, you're looking at almost like $2,500.
Damn.
Well, Canadian, but still, like that's insane.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised they didn't put more into this little. This is Robosen's commercial, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does feel a little weak, eh?
Yeah, I mean, considering the money they're making off these things, you think a little more production value would have went into the commercial. I'm just throwing that one out there.
Well, I just hope there's enough room on this desk for him to do this. Maybe move this keyboard over.
I'd say my shorts are kind of cooler than their versions.
Yeah.
Hey, Optimus Prime. Transform.
Push-ups.
Nice.
It's charged up.
Yeah, it only takes 15 minutes.
Nice.
To get, it takes 15 minutes to get enough of a charge to transform a couple times, or a full charge?
Yeah. No, full charge takes 35.
That's still not bad. That was better than my phone.
other video that Deceptikitty has sent me. I mean, the one thing with Robosen is they do use that version of kind of like reversing Optimus, and the only time I was upset with Optimus in that mode was the original Power Master Optimus. Where in his Power Master mode, like I've always loved the toy, but the regular Optimus mode always bothered me because you have to transform him, and his back is the front of Optimus.
Is
That
this
was
that
the Power Master
South
one.
American guy that made the Bumblebee?
Oh, don't you
It
be
is
doing
the
shit
same
like
guy.
that.
It is. Yeah. So I think
You're
this
gonna make
came out
yourself
today
fall off
or
the
at
damn
least
desk.
recently. It's probably walking off the
Bad
table.
Optimus, bad.
Yeah. Well, he just as I
Papa
walked
Magnus
up,
is
he
gonna
just
have to
jumped
spank
into
you.
this. He just jumped into this pose and just almost knocked himself off the desk.
Wow.
Into your wank. He almost impacted your
Stand
ability
up,
to have any more
bitch.
children.
Hey, Optimus Prime.
Well, he's ignoring you.
Are we friends?
Be funny if he says no. You just called me bitch.
Okay, so Optimus Prime is 18.5 inches tall.
Oh. I wonder if there's like
And
a secret
Megatron is
mode.
21, so he's going to be about 3 inches taller than this.
Oh, that's crazy.
God, that's going to be huge.
It's a big
I wonder if in
Jimmy
any of
Christmas.
the Robosens, like they put a secret mode where it's like, hey Optimus, are you my friend? And it's like, I'm your friend. And my name's Teddy Ruxpin.
No, he just does this little. Here, let me turn him. Hey, Optimus Prime. Are we friends?
What is don't Are we friends?
Yeah.
Well, Optimus would be like, here goes my joint. You can hit it too.
That was too easy. That was just too easy. Okay, let's rewind this video and we'll see this.
Optimus Prime. Roll out.
There we go.
Yeah, this way the ones transforming in the video looks more like the movie formers.
Mm-hmm.
Panels flying every which way.
Mm.
Oh, no, that's an interesting transformation.
Wasn't that unique? He's obviously done a few. He has a few of these transformers under his belt, so he's gotten pretty good at it. But like, Robosen has all kinds of funding and money behind them, and this guy is literally doing it from South America with popsicle sticks and tape, and I think that looks really good. Put that into plastic, and I think that'll sell very well.
Oh yeah.
Well, cover up some of the electronics and all, but.
I wasn't here. What is this?
And so this is the South American guy who he did a transforming Bumblebee, and we had it on a while back. We checked that out here on the show, and a couple of weeks ago he did this Optimus Prime, which I felt even the transformation has more style. Like I don't know. In my opinion, this looks a lot cooler than the Robosen transformation, and that's what I was saying. The Megatron's transformation, Prime's transformation, was a little bit bland because I saw this guy do it. And I'm like, yo, come on, that's awesome. That's so awesome. I just feel there's so many moving parts.
Oh yeah, but now I just want to know with the General Lee in the background, is that the next project?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who did that? Who did that video? Oh god, Jazz with the General Problem.
Oh, I love that video.
Oh, where him and the General Lee transforms, and it. Oh, who did that?
I'll find that and we'll play that in a second. But that was a cool video.
Yeah. Yeah, let's spin find that for everybody watching. Let's spin find that. If you haven't seen that one, you gotta see that one.
No, I haven't seen it.
The guy who did it, it's stop motion, but the guy who did it, man, he really knows stop motion. It looks fantastic, and he does other things other than Transformer stuff.
Just notice how detailed that prime head is.
Looks like a head off an existing toy.
Kind of does compared to the rest of the body. Yeah, yeah.
Which, I mean, you could have 3D printed that head too.
Well, I mean, you know, probably 50% of the stuff on there is probably 3D printed.
Right.
The other, and like Decepticitty said, the other half is popsicle sticks and paper.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, he said he's using paper because it's lightweight, and also the popsicle sticks. Because if there's too much weight, then for example, this panel wouldn't get all the way over it. It would struggle a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, so much more personality in that transformation than the Robosen, Megatron, and Prime.
I think that just that ending where like multiple things moved at once, I think that's probably what's doing it for me. Whereas the Robosen, it's kind of like one thing at a time, I feel, or not as quite as many moving parts.
Well, if you go back to that last shot there, there's a bunch of little things I'm gonna pick apart. Okay, let it finish. Go to the end when it transforms back into this. And, you know, this is the beta. I understand that. This is okay. Pause it right there. Okay, look right underneath of this front wheel that's closest to us, and see where these two sticks come together. That's a brace for him to be able to kneel. That doesn't come off the ground when he goes all the way down.
Oh, I see.
So that's going to be something that he's going to have to work on. And his feet in the back have never come off the ground.
Oh, okay.
So this won't roll. Or if it does, it's going to catch on everything.
Yeah, okay, good point. I'm sure he will make it roll because I think that's...
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying this is the beta. It's great, but these are the things that he's going to have to work on right here.
Yeah. I think this is the first video. The first time I'm seeing this one, anyways. So
yeah, me too.
I'm sure there's more to do on this. And you can see it's plugged into an external power supply.
Yeah, so it's still still working on the bugs on that and the design.
You know, I wouldn't be opposed to having to plug it into an external power supply because the battery in those things, in the Robosens, is eventually going to go bad. Just like every battery does. So, you know, what the hell do you do when the battery in those things go bad? They've got to be a nightmare to take apart.
No, it's one screw. It's one screw.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one screw, but the battery's like $140.
Oh, no kidding. I was actually... I contacted Robosen and they weren't ready to sell the batteries yet. And from how they said it, they said it was very complicated. I took mine into...
There's a place here in Evansville called Batteries Plus, and I'm sure that you all have got them in your areas too. You can take any battery. You can take any battery to them, and they can make it.
Oh, that's true. It's all lithium. Yeah, it's all the same.
And that's what they told me. I took it into them. So, you know, because that was one of my worries. Are they going to cost me $500 to get another Robosen one?
Right.
But like I said, the battery on this thing, once you charge it up, it stays charged forever. Like I said, this is the third time I've charged it in 3 years. 2 years.
That's lithium for you.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to play this one video called Transformers Jazz with a General Problem. And then we'll just get over to our CBR article before we wrap up for the week. But yeah, this is a really cool video I came across as well, like a couple years ago.
And I know probably going to play it without the sound, but yeah, with the sound is even cooler.
Yeah, the sound makes
you
a
guys,
huge difference.
watch it with us, but then again, go find that on your own and listen to it with sound. Like, you can see that stop motion is really on point.
Is that like what the G1 style deco of the Bayverse?
My God, somebody needs to make that.
Well, yes. Well, no, it would never fly today. You know they're not going to make anything with the Generally design on it.
I don't care as long as they got me just that Challenger. I've got airbrushes, and I bet Toy Hacks would make a sticker set.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, I'd really like to know who made that Generally Transformer, and because it does look really good.
Yeah.
Especially considering that, Civil War soldiers had uniforms that came down like the roof is coming down. So, yeah, they had the thing like the almost like trench coat uniforms, and he wears it like that. Yeah.
Wow. What was it, Monsieur?
Yes.
Yeah, it shows a video, the making of this video.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's. I might have to go watch that later just to figure out how in the heck he did that with Generally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, look at the camera movements, and like everything is so nice and clean. Wow.
And he's got other stuff that came out after this that he got even better at. That just looks amazing. Yeah, this guy was good. I don't think he makes videos anymore, and if he does, he took a long vacation.
Yeah, because this video is actually from many years ago, and then, again, that's when many of us would say, well, look at what the Bayverse gives us, and then look at what someone independent is throwing up on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Again, I said it last week. Corporate Hasbro is never going to give us, exactly what we want when it comes to a movie. That's why it's really important to support these guys on YouTube that are doing stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said last week with NG Smooth, Monsieur here, Artist Stan, who, if you're watching this, we're still hoping you get better. We saw that you're back in the hospital. Yeah, it's just really important to support these guys so we get more content like this, because corporate Hasbro is never going to give it to us.
Definitely.
Well, Ezra, Charlie C does have a question. Can you use a remote control car battery as a replacement for Robosen?
No, it's tiny.
So is my remote control car battery.
This is like 3 watch batteries put together. It's like if you took a AAA and cut it into 3 pieces.
That's very tiny.
Yeah, it's about this tall, and it's smaller around than my pinky is.
Yeah, because
it's a cylinder shape.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember back in I don't know about RC cars now, but I know when my friend was into it back then, the battery packs were almost like a small candy bar.
The RC car that I had was 7.62, and it was 4 or 5 inches, maybe as wide as 2 fingers.
Yeah, back in the day, they used nickel cadmium because those were the rechargeable standard at the time, and that would be like C cell size cells in there. So you might have like 4, 6, or 8 of those C cell size nickel cadmium batteries in a pack that looks like some kind of double chocolate bar or something.
Let me go ahead and show these other 3 Megatrons that I've got sitting here before we get going. So we have Shattered Glass Megatron, which turns into a spaceship.
Very nice.
All right.
I've got this. This was the Netflix one that was in the box that came with all the little bonus stuff. Everything where he's got the green camo paint job on him.
What is that a reference to?
It's
Classics
Siege.
release.
Yeah, it's Siege. I can get the box. I got the box sitting over here right behind me.
I
It's
think
the
he
same
meant
as
the
this one.
deco.
Yeah, it's the same as this one. For the bigger paint job.
Yeah, I think what
And this is
Deceptikitty's
the throne
action,
that
like
comes.
it, what the
This is the
deco
throne
is a
that comes with
reference
Starscream.
for.
But it was made for Megatron.
Yeah, it's
Far out.
definitely made for Megatron.
Yeah, he fits it perfectly.
Which actually
Yeah,
in
Deceptikitty, that mold was like the deco is a reference to like classics where they had like I want to say it was a 2-pack of like a deluxe Optimus and a deluxe
know-
Megatron that came together. And
I
it's a
know
reference
exactly the one
to
you're
that
talking about.
deco. 'Cause
And it
it's
came with the
same line that
DVD.
you had almost a Nerf gun looking Megatron, and then the Optimus that was Voyager that got redecoed at Target into a white Magnus that was packaged with Skywarp. That's the classics to whatever chug line it was.
Right. Cool.
This
cool,
is
cool, cool.
this is the box that green one came in.
Okay. Cool.
Well, I mean this is a sealed one, but
That's very nice. That's a really nice box. Holy cow!
with the Megatron lips.
Is that
All right. What do we got from CBR this week, Spin?
All right, let's see what we got from CBR this week. And
Do I need to get alcohol and put it in my tea?
let's see. So this week from CBR, their article says, although this was published 2021, but their article is Transformers, Why Megatron Turned Evil is Absolutely Tragic.
such
Police
a
brutality
tragic
was
tale?
part of it.
So
I
let's
think the world beats them in
Tragic.
IDW. And people sometimes say the world's like, yeah, if you hadn't beat Megatron's ass so bad back in the day, you wouldn't be turned into Hitler.
Oh dear. Well, they say forced into enslavement while ruled by the apathetic Autobot elite, Megatron falls into villainy typically as an air of sadness.
That's definitely referencing that Megatron Origins comic book that we were talking about earlier.
Okay. So though he's occasionally replaced by his upgraded counterpart, Megatron is almost always the face of villainy in the Transformers franchise. And whether he turns into a tank, a jet, a dinosaur, or even a diminutive gun, Megatron's myriad of incarnations are always waging their battle to destroy the heroic forces of the various Optimuses. While Optimus is sometimes almost impossibly valiant, Megatron himself was once a very cliche villain. In recent years, however, new takes on the characters have added new layers to his actions.
That's conflating Beast Wars Megatron and G1 Megatron a little bit.
All right, let's see. Well, they say in the G1 cartoon, Megatron was the result of the second generation of official Decepticons. When he was created, the Decepticons had already lost their first war against the Autobots, but sought to turn the tide by copying their rivals' transformation technology and their own flying abilities. They also built the warrior robot Megatron, who would become their new leader. Megatron led raids against major Autobot cities, killing Sentinel Prime in his quest for factional domination. And to add to the Decepticon ranks, he even employed the dangerous Robo-Smasher to brainwash Autobots into joining his cause.
I'm really
So
surprised
Robo-Smasher-
they're mentioning G1 stuff in there because
Mhm.
Smasher's G1.
It's a miracle of God. I mean, Primus.
When did he kill Sentinel Prime?
I mean, he killed him in the movie. It's this never
okay, right.
happened. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Sentinel
yeah.
Prime was never a thing in the G1 cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said the Robosen, not Sentinel Prime.
Which there is the paradox, and I wonder if anyone has ever tried to explain it, because initially it said that Megatron created the Constructicons,
Yeah.
but then later on it shows the Constructicons created Megatron.
Megatron.
Yeah, so so it's a chicken and egg. Like, who created who here?
Yeah.
Well,
I
you
think
Depends
saw
on the timeline.
you saw in the cartoon when he mentions that he built them in the caves. It was just kind of a throwaway line, and you didn't actually see it. But flip it around, you actually saw Megatron being built by the Constructicons. As a matter of fact, you see him being built by 7 Constructicons.
Yeah,
Correct.
Holler was still a member of them.
Yeah.
I think someone said, it may have been Anthony at some point, that mentioned that I think those were supposed to be generic Decepticons, but they ended up using the Constructicons in the final cut.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was an ACOM episode, wasn't it?
Many question marks with their episodes. And let's see, and they say these murderous pursuits were somehow kept out of the public knowledge, with Autobots such as Orion Pax looking up to the cool flying robots. And once their unquestioning evil was revealed, however, the revived Decepticon army was seen unequivocally as the villains they were. Megatron was never given an exact reason for his evil, despotic ways, and his sometimes cartoonish brand of evil resulted in some rather ridiculous plots throughout the show. And while he was an incredibly memorable villain nonetheless, later versions of the character would build from this foundation and give the villain a downtrodden backstory that fleshed him out.
I love this word, evil, despotic ways. Downtrodden backstory. Come on. Stop your evil ways.
They must have been thinking that when they were writing this.
Totally.
Megatron's origins have been heavily revised in the past 2 decades. Those similar elements make him into a formally put upon individual who rose to greatness only to turn evil in the end. And in the IDW comic continuity, Megatron formed the Decepticons initially not through force, but through writing. Speaking out against the ruling class of Cybertronians who lived atop of the world via an oppressive caste system, Megatron was punished by being forced into living as a lonely miner. Then, after killing a prejudiced senator, he was imprisoned as a gladiator, fighting battles to the death for the entertainment of the masses. This further hardened him through a life of forced servitude to the elites, while also gaining him more supporters that would bolster the eventual Decepticon army.
I don't think that was really explored in the Transformers universe outside of the Megatron Origins comics so much, like the whole caste system thing.
I can't remember if it was More Than Meet the Eye or Robots in the Skies, where they would have a lot of backstories when the Transformers books kind of turned into 2 books. Focused with Rodimus on, in space trying to find the lost Cybertronian knights, but there's I want to say it would be like with Rewind and a few other the Lost Light crew commenting on like Optimus and Megatron's history for whatever reason. But yeah, you would sometimes get they would look into it more in these little backstories in that era. Later, after what Deceptikitty's been referring to, the
Megatron
that was earlier in IDW.
Well, here they say within the line continuity, similar to Transformer Prime, he was D16, living under tyrannical rule under the Quintessons. Fought along his Cybertronian brethren to free their planet of their oppressors, and this Unity event was eventually forgotten to the race. And let's see, and he saw D16 remain under a minor, being supposedly freed. And even the growing Decepticon movement became associated with violent terrorist attacks. He distanced himself from the acts, believing that power could be achieved through other means. And Megatron would eventually become more violent in his opposition to the Cybertronian ruling class, and that would end his friendship with Orion Pax, as he saw a sellout to governing elites. Although in the article it does say that this makes him analogous to the X-Men villain Magneto, who usually poses the risk of becoming the same threat that he claims to fight against. But it's also worth noting that this origin heavily resembles that of Beast Wars version Megatron, who went to extreme lengths to undermine what he saw as the oppressive ruling class of the Maximals. So what do we say about this article?
Yes and no with that last point.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's a difference between... yeah, you could say in Beast Wars, you could make the argument that it would be, like, I'm trying to say, if Beast Wars would be like modern America with the treatment of, let's say, people of color, whereas, let's say, IDW is more like Jim Crow or even slave era. So, I mean, yes, it's on the same spectrum. I do agree with that, but it's maybe not as close as CBR makes it sound like.
I don't know. It just sounds like a homogenization of just a bunch of wiki articles. Is all it sounds like.
Yeah, the last two paragraphs were just a mishmash of nonsense. Like Transformers Prime never referenced Megatron's origins on Cybertron, Gladiators, or D16.
No.
Maybe in the line continuity somewhere, but nothing like that in Transformers Prime.
There's the episodes where Orion Optimus he goes back to his Orion Pax mental state, and you get some of that backstory, but it's like very like brief, like, oh yeah, my friend Megatron, he was a gladiator, blah blah blah. But it's like one episode that it gets referenced, and it's like not really referenced that much in Prime again. But it was referenced, and then the line continuity. I remember having the first of the novels, and like that very much is true with like how with the terrorist elements versus the not terrorist elements of the Decepticon movement early on. That was very much a thing in the novels. At least the first novel, which I remember owning in 2012, 2013, and reading. I want to say the summer of 2013. I think is when I read that.
Exodus.
Cool.
Yeah.
So once again, another CBR article that's minimally hitting 50 out of 100. So on that note.
Love that.
I made a fart sound when it was going. Big old juicy CBR poop.
Another CBR article brought to you by ChatGTP 3.5.
Nice. So as we round up the evening, again, thank you for everyone who's watched us, subscribed to us, liked our videos, like our short videos. When I have time to throw them out, because there's always something funny that we can throw out there. But I'm gonna throw it over to Mr. Magnus. What do you have coming up in the next while?
Nothing really. That's what I was just picking my orders right now. I've still got the 2 core class still in my pocket of loot, so I'm waiting to see if a few other things hit before I have it shipped. Nope. We're going to do a little plug here for Big Bad Toy Store. Titans Return Fortress Maximus is being re-released.
Oh.
The pre-order is up. He's $199.99.
Yeah, and
So
also,
if anybody missed out on him and doesn't want to pay $600 for a first edition one, you can now pick him up for $200.
nice.
I don't think there was anything else on here. We've already gone over Megatron.
I'm sorry, Bill. Fortress Maximus, is that a reissue or is this just overstock that Big Bad Toy Store is getting?
It's a pre-order, so Titan Return, Titan's Class. It doesn't say if it's a reissue or if it's an overstock. It just says it's the same. Titan's Class with Cerberus.
I mean, I found him
Titan
at
Master,
like
Emissary
Walgreens in
figure, 3
2024,
accessories,
so-
character card labeled and instructions. Yeah, it's the same one. So I imagine that it's. I can grab mine if you want me to show it real quick. It's sitting right over here behind me.
And Mr. Magnus, while you're running over to get that, what are you doing in June?
In June, I will be doing a panel at OMG Con on extreme collecting. At OMG Con on Sunday. I did finally get my dates. They had me down for Friday, and I asked them for Saturday or Sunday first, because I work Monday through Friday. But yeah, this is him. He's a monster.
Yeah. Good modern take on that classic 2-foot baby.
Mm-hmm.
Kneecap guns.
That's right. Which I honestly
Don't
hope that since
forget.
they're reissuing him, that they're going to reissue his upgrade kits, because I would love to have the articulated hands instead of the stiff fingers.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, his upgrade kit had upgraded hands, and it had the 2 cannons that come off of his waist.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, OMG Con, June.
I believe it's between 14 to 16.
That's what I think it is.
Nice. At Owensboro, Kentucky.
2024, June 14th through the 16th. I haven't got my time slot yet, but I will be doing the panel, an hour-and-a-half panel on extreme collecting. It won't just be Transformers. It'll be Transformers, Magic, a few other things that I'm involved with that I have thousands of dollars invested in. So,
Awesome.
Transformers is going to be the big part of it. We are going to have a banner there. So, if you're listening and you're in the tri-state area of southern Indiana, western Kentucky, come to Owensboro, Kentucky, June 14th through the 16th for OMG Con, and come and check it out. It's a great con. It's an anime con. They have a real good cosplay. They have a great vendors hall, and like 19 food trucks. So, I mean, it's good food everywhere. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Cool. Toy Warp, what do you have coming up for this week or recently released?
Coming up this week, grab it here. The video for the last of the Bigfoot trucks, Warlord, is going to be out on Toy Tuesday. That leads me to the cartoon retrospective. I did order the DVD, the one that you can find online, and the picture quality sucks, and none of their mouths line up with what they're saying. So I'm actually going to have to source the cartoon from somewhere else, more than likely on YouTube. And then after that, we're going to be moving on to the Bigfoot Performance Center And then it's just going to be a couple more videos after that, and it's going to be finally get through the Bigfoot stuff.
Nice. And Decepticon, what have you for the upcoming week? And actually, there was one news that you had recently mentioned.
This is the state of my life right now. So everything is in boxes. All the rooms are empty. So I'm just like restructuring my life, which is a really cool experience for me because I'm basically starting everything new. Like I'm reorganizing, new floors, clean everything. So step one is like the next couple of days is just clean up and like all the walls, all the floors. Like this place is going to be cleaned out completely, and I'm going to feng shui everything. So I have
Nice.
my workspace, my chill space, my collection space. I'm in a condo unit. It's where I'm very limited on space, so I have to be very conscious of what goes where and what I can keep, what has to go. Doing that all over this week. It's going to be a whole new start for me.
Cool. And SETTOM BOCKS, what do you have coming up for the week?
I need to look up. I know that IG story I tagged you in, you and my friend Anna. I need to see if any of the traveling locations for that art show that I got artwork in, if it's any time it's going to be reasonably short drive away from me. If it is, I might go and be like, oh, I actually get to see my work in a museum. I'm still waiting back to hear from the 2 other art shows. If there's stuff, I think the one of them's jury and the other one's a sure thing. It's just a matter of when it happens. And that one, that's near somewhere where I could take my niece and nephew to. The one that's a sure thing. So that, and it's like walking distance from where I normally go with them on First Fridays. Otherwise, it would be. I'm trying to think. I think I posted it's just a goofy little painting I did this past week. So I don't think we have any big projects. I didn't pick the colors, so. Someone else picked the colors, and that friend Anna, she sings classical music and metal, but then because she's been singing in toad voice, I guess I had mushrooms on the brain because of her. And it is a little trippy color combination.
It is, yeah.
So, but otherwise, getting that government stuff straight, since that is tied to Social Security cards, and hopefully my identity doesn't get stolen because of the county government being incompetent. Or then I'll find out for sure on the 4th if how bad they'll really hack if it happens again the start of next month when I get paid and it gets spent again or something. I'm expecting it to probably happen because it's pretty bad when the police officer's like, yeah, we get reports about it like lately every at least 2 or 3 days out of the week. I'm like, that's lovely. I'm glad that this isn't murder investigations or we'd be screwed.
So if next week's Sunday, someone else logs in, claiming to be SETTOM BOCKS.
Yeah, New York.
We won't ask questions. We'll just go with it.
Just run with it. Yep.
There's 2 Walmarts. The second Walmart they went to was on Crooked Hill Road. I'm like, oh, that's ironic. It's like.
Well, on that note, so I thank all of you guys for taking your time to hang out with us. Everyone in the comments, always hiding in the comments section, like and subscribe to our channel. Shout out to
Free
Anthony.
Comic Book Day coming up on the 4th, by the way. There's going to be a Transformers comic that they're going to have for it.
Okay. Anthony just, couldn't be with us this evening. There's they had a friend of theirs had passed away, so they were over, a family member of a friend of theirs had passed away, and also shout out to TFJOHNNY. A couple weeks ago, a friend of his son had passed away. So I do send the condolences, to everyone and their families. But we always have our satellite members as well who are not always able to come by, but we're always happy when everyone can come through. So, we thank everyone. So subscribe, like, and as we say at the end of all our streams, to all are one.
Till
All
Transformers
are
one.
one.